Between 1939 and 1945, Hitler committed a genocide of over 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Because of this, a mass exodus of Jews fled to Palestine, hoping to recreate Israel, their homeland, from over 2,000 years ago. Now, the British have occupied this piece of land since the end of World War I. And because of the Second World War's drain on Britain's finances, the British are now leaving. They have promised a separate Jewish and Arab state. In 1947, the plan has still not set, and the British passed the issue on to the newly formed United Nations, who then send an envoy to see what they could do. They came back and tried to establish the partition plan, or the two-state solution. The Israelis said yes, and the Palestinians said no. The Israelis then go on to form their own government. The Middle East, Iraq, Lebanon, Jordan, Egypt, and Syria declare war on Israel in the Israel War for Independence, which the Israelis go on to win, gaining more land than what was originally given to them. After 60 years of failed diplomatic attempts and bitter fighting, we are here today, in which Palestinians only live in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. A two-state solution now in shambles.
Okay, well, from what I know of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, it's been going on for a very, very long time. Ever since the founding of Israel, this has been a problem. And even before Israel was officially given its status as a nation, it was still a problem.
Palestine was once a country, and Israel took over, and now it's named Israel. And like, there's a conflict between the two countries. I mean, the two like Palestinian and Israeli people, and it's still going on today. It started in 1948. And yesterday, Gaza Strip got bombed. November 15th.
Okay.
And yesterday they got bombed, and I think 11 Palestinians died, including 2 young kids.
I know that the Palestinians have land because they were like giving that land, and the Israelis live there because they were already there before the Palestinians were giving their land, so they're having a whole big issue with it, and that Israelis are getting bombed, and the president of Israel was like, if they keep hurting us, we're just gonna fight back. So.
Well, I know like Israel and the Palestinians have been fighting over this land for like a very long time, and like, yeah, like I was listening to Lupe Fiasco one time, and he rapped about it because he's a Muslim, and he's always like, he was like, he didn't vote for an American president because they didn't do anything about the Gaza Strip. So yeah.
Well, some of the main causes, I think, are, it's kind of a very difficult issue to explain, but one of the main causes, I think, is mostly the British occupation of Palestine after World War I, taking over that land from the Ottoman Empire, and kind of not knowing what to do with it, seeing as though there were Arabs and Jews in the area, and the British made the decision to give the land to the UN to decide on a two-state solution, which didn't actually end up happening. I think had the UN actually if they had been successful in doing this and actually creating the state of Palestine, the state of Israel, this whole thing could have probably been avoided, but that wasn't the case.
It's basically like land and who owns the land and who like the land's name, like should it be named Palestine or Israel, and the problem that the killing and all that's happening, that's the main conflict.
Just fighting over land and probably the religion too.
Well, I think it's all three. I don't think that you can say it's one or the other. You know, as far as the politics of it and the religious issues involved, I mean, they're so numerous. As far as, you know, the city of Jerusalem is probably the biggest religious issue in that area because of the Dome of the Rock and, you know, the Western Wall and all the things that kind of go into that city, and it becomes impossible to really decide who gets to get Israel. I mean, to get Jerusalem. So even if they can decide on how to split up that land adequately for the Palestinians and adequately for the Jews, you're still left with that one city, which is going to be holy to all three religions, not only Judaism and Islam, but also Christianity.
It's probably political and social. Because like right now, Palestinians and Israeli people don't get along. Like Israel says that's their land, Palestinians say it's their land, and so it's social because it has a conflict, and political because like the land, they both want the land, and they want the country.
Religious because there's Judaism and there's Islam, well, Muslim, and the Muslims, they're supposed to be peaceful, but if they're coming and they're bombing the Israelis, then I don't believe that's peaceful, and of course we're gonna fight back.
I think that the main causes are like religion and stuff, because like people think that certain land is their land because of their Bible or whatever they do, so I think it's religious, and it's political because like the presidents and the UN and stuff is getting involved, so it becomes like political too.
I don't think peace is on the near horizon. I think that the biggest issue confronting the Palestinians at this point is the fact that the Jews are kind of pushing them further and further back, walling them in, and kind of taking more of the West Bank than ever before, the occupied territory. And I think that issue kind of brings up another issue, which is that if there is a two-state solution, you know, what land will be given to the Palestinians if it's all taken over by the Jews, the Israelis, because there's not going to be any land left to divide, and you're going to have a problem of trying to find out a way to get the settlers that have moved into these new areas, the Israeli settlers, to give up their land, and that's going to be you know, increasingly difficult the longer and longer this happens as families start to settle this new area. So that's probably the biggest issue right now, I think. And I don't see a solution on the horizon, really.
Is there ever going to be peace? I don't think so, because a lot has been going between both, and there's been killing, and
It's like this everywhere. It's land, and land can never really be like it's disputes of like everywhere happening, like North Korea and South Korea trying to like take over someone, and there's no way of like ever really being peaceful with land. Everyone wants land. Everyone wants to have the most power. So no.
Because I mean, like Alana said, whenever it's religious, it can never be solved because everybody wants power and stuff.
Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may they say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possession. Try. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing